Today, deer hunters in Michigan will be able to voice their thoughts on potential changes to deer hunting regulations in our state. The Natural Resources Commission will hold a meeting today to discuss proposals made by the Michigan Department of Natural Resources. The DNR is considering changes that include a 1 buck annual bag limit, shortening the muzzleloader season to 3 days, and combining early antlerless and youth hunts to the second weekend of September. The commission will not make a decision on the proposals until at least May 13th, which is their next meeting. If the changes are approved, the 1 buck limit will go into effect starting next March.